In the future, I think that we will be able to even teletransport ourselves.
Yay!
It doesn't matter where you work because the technology will evolve.
Give even an advice to these people of how to survive in a corporate world to keep their sanity in place. What is Vodafone working on? What is the next big thing coming out of Vodafone?
Okay, so...
Hey there, welcome to another episode of Unscripted. I am Garima, and today I'm going to straight up ask you that. Have you ever felt like your phone is listening to you? Or wondered how much of information are you actually sharing every time you connect your phone to the free Wi-Fi in a mall or at an airport? And what really happens with all that data that your favorite apps are constantly collecting in the background? Well, I've got just the person to answer all those questions. With over 30 years of experience in telecom and cybersecurity, she has led Omantel and now is the COO of Vodafone Oman. Joining us today in the studio is Aneth Guerra de Arosemena. Welcome to the studio, Aneth.
Thank you so much for having me today.
And to be honest, I actually rehearsed and practiced that name more than 5 times. I went on to Google, I typed the name, it showed me the meaning as well, and then I kept saying, please tell me that I took it, and I said it correctly.
Very good.
Yay!
Very good. No, you did say it, and I think it's part of the process of also, when you deal with names that are from very different cultures, you really need to make an effort to try to pronounce, and that's important.
Yeah, but now I'm never going to forget that. So
No,
it's
no,
been
no,
how many years
absolutely.
for you here in Oman?
I'm sorry?
It's been how many years for you here in Oman?
On and off, it'll be 12 years in Oman.
Wow. Why do you say on and off?
Because first time in Oman, I came in 2004.
Okay.
When Omantel, because of the opening up of the market, decided to spin off the mobile business. Then it was called Oman Mobile.
Oh, yes.
And then from then onwards, I was there until 2007.
Okay.
Late 2007, I left.
Okay.
Came back then to Omantel in 2017, 10 years later.
Wow.
By the way, I got lost getting out of the airport because the Sultan Qaboos street was the only one that existed when I left in 2007. And then the Muscat Expressway happened in between that time. So anyways, yes, I came back in 2017.
Okay.
Fundamentally to help Omantel prepare for the entrant of the third mobile operator, which is Vodafone today.
I like that.
Yes,
I like that.
Absolutely. I left Omantel in 2021, and in 2023, July, I was joining Vodafone Oman.
Wow.
In my third tenure here, which, by the way, it's been 2 years now.
Wow. That's quite a transition and quite a few companies here and there. So what were you exactly doing in those 10 years, from 2007 to 2017?
I worked in Latin America and the US.
Right.
For a company called Cable and Wireless.
Okay.
The company was acquired in 2016 by a much larger company called Liberty Global.
Okay.
And the company is also a telecom company. So in 2016, then they asked, which is generally a normal process, that all the C-levels needed to step down because, they were taking over the company. So in 2017, I was here, of course.
Right.
It was rather a smooth transition, but something that helped me quite a bit in the process of my career, although over more than 30 years, I've been working in telecom companies and, all over the world.
Right. Okay, so Aneth, today, during the conversation, here's how I've divided it in my head. One part, I have a lot of questions around data, cybersecurity, privacy, all of that. And the other part, the kind of experience that you have in the corporate world, which is 30 years and more, I feel most of the people even watching this aren't even of that age as much as the experience that you hold, right? So you would just be the right person to share the tips and tricks or advice to these people of how to survive in a corporate world, to keep their sanity in place, and how can they really keep themselves out of that game, if you know what I mean. Like not really playing the game, but still being in the corporate. So I have questions around that.
Correct.
And I've got questions around cybersecurity. So first, let's start with the fact that you mentioned that you worked in Latin America, you worked in USA, you worked in Oman. What is that one thing or a core value that kept you relevant all these 30 years? Something that you started with still holds true.
I would tell you that technology-wise is the same. It doesn't matter where you work because the technology will evolve, and as you evolve, all the other innovation, technology-related things are going to evolve in the same pace. It always depends on investment,
right?
But technology evolves in the same direction in the telecommunications arena. Culturally and cultural environments, very different, very different. I would say that Oman is 180 degrees different to my culture in some things, but we're very much alike in some others.
Wow.
Now, if we take it to the job space, the US is also another pole in all of this. The US culture is something else. It's a bit more ruthless in a number of fronts.
Right.
And generally, when I say these things, I don't mean anything wrong or right.
Right.
I mean it in the context of the environment in which you evolve.
Right.
And this is rather important in your brain when you work in different environments, because you need to accept what you think you can live with, but at the same time, you need to take aside what you don't think works for you and try to see how you manage through that. It took me some time to understand, for example, that in Oman, people are far more respectful. Respect has an incredibly high level of importance for people here. You know, people in general, and of course I'm talking about a generality here, will rather avoid having the tough conversation with you until they feel that they can get to you in a way that they can have a constructive discussion rather than destroying you through the process. Right?
Got it. Yeah.
So you learn through that, but you learn also to understand what's the positive about it and how you can actually enhance the skills that you have to get to where you need to get through the cultural environment that you have and the positives of that cultural environment rather than working against it. Because if I work against it, I'll never get anywhere.
True.
So there are a degree of things, but again, I think the one constant that I will always have is my principles.
Yeah.
If, you know, I need to keep true to my principles. And it doesn't matter if I'm here, if I'm in Panama, if I'm in the US, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
My principles are my principles. I can adjust my beliefs. I can adjust my social skills. I can adjust my levels of empathy.
Right.
All of that is adjustable, not your principles. You don't compromise on your principles.
You know, your childhood and the principles or the values that are instilled in you as a child back home, they actually play a very vital role as you get into the corporate world. Were there any values that have been there with you right from your childhood?
I say yes. I mean, there is a degree of things that will come from you, will come with you from your childhood. I cannot deny that.
Right.
But there are a couple of very important attributes and skills that you can actually develop over time. Being disciplined, for example.
Right.
It's something that you learn over time.
Right.
And one thing that for me was always, for example, I grew up understanding business first because I come from business families.
Right.
But I don't, I had my business a few years back. I started, I spent most of my life in corporate environments. So even though I understood where I needed to go and I applied those principles to how a business should be run, it didn't mean that I had done it by myself. You see? So in the end, I think that what's important is no matter where you come from or what kind of background you are bringing in or experiences you are bringing in, what do you want? You see, this is the one question is most people don't ask themselves. What do you want? And I always say the following. If you don't know what you want, you at least need to know what you don't want in your life. This is absolutely important.
Right.
Not everybody is born in this life knowing, oh, my life is going to be by year 2 this, by year 4 I'll do that.
Yeah, it's
There is,
unpredictable.
I'm sure there are people like that, but I think they are the less number of people.
Right.
So if you don't know exactly today where you are, what you want, what's your next step,
Yeah.
then you need to know what is hurting you. What
Yeah.
is it that you don't want in your life? And then you can start working towards making that change.
Yeah.
And I cannot assure you right now that every single environment that I have worked in, I am so thrilled and happy. Oh my God, this is just great, and I'm just a happy chip all the time. No.
Yeah.
But I also learned to understand the signs when it wasn't for me. And there's nothing wrong with walking away from that, as long as you follow what you think is the best for you. What do you want
Right.
at that moment in time?
Any advice that you'd like to give people watching this right now who are feeling stuck at work, where they feel there's no growth, but at the end of it, they've got bills to pay?
I think this is where mentorship comes along. And mentorship comes in the way of a mentor as such, or somebody who you think can give you a very good advice. These are things you need to discuss, because it's so hard just to look at yourself and think, I need this job, I need the money, and I hate my boss. This guy is just, and the environment is just so toxic that I cannot stay here. So this is where I would say to everybody, you need to look for somebody who can give you a good advice. There is so much that your body and your brain will take. If this is not your place, you need to decide to break apart, but plan for it. You cannot rush into decisions. If you need the money, as we all do, because we all go to work because we need the money,
True.
then plan your exit. Plan your change. But don't get all wrapped up on the fact that you are in a place where you don't want to be. Okay, so you don't want to be here. What's next for you? Mentorship becomes a very important element in these discussions. It could come from your parents, it could come from a very good friend, it could come from somebody that you respect.
Right.
But it's rather important that you discuss these things, because there will always be options.
Right.
You may not see them right now, but there will always be options. So what do you need to do in order to get to those options?
Very well said. It takes me back to a recent movie that I watched. I watched F1, and I highly encourage everyone to go and watch that movie. In fact, I feel that corporates should be keeping aside a budget to take their teams to go and watch that movie F1. By the way, Vox Cinemas, if you're watching this, you should be sending me some premiere tickets. You're welcome for this free plug-in. But yes, it's a fantastic movie. And there comes this Sonny, who's an experienced driver. Okay? So when Sonny comes into Joshua's life, that's the turning point, and that's when the plot changes. It's like, it feels like as if everybody's got the direction. But the question here is that, how do you identify that mentor? And not everyone is lucky to have a mentor in life.
True.
So how do you go about looking for one? And how blessed are the people who have one?
I'll take you in two extreme situations.
Okay.
I have people, and this is not new, throughout my career, throughout my professional life, who comes to me, I don't know even who they are.
Okay.
They come to me because they have had a comment or a reference from somebody else, and they just approach me and say, is it possible for me to have half an hour with you?
Wow.
It takes courage to do that,
Yes.
because I could say no,
Yeah.
and then more rejection in your life.
Yeah.
But somebody who is looking for help, you see, you need to want that help, will probably do their homework a little bit about who do I approach?
Correct.
Who do I think can actually give me some advice?
Right. Right.
And the conversations go from some things very personal, so to the career, to it spans through so many things.
Correct.
And I take the time. I
Wow.
take the time because I think that if somebody sees or believes that I'm able to provide some sort of value or guidance,
Yeah.
God knows why it put me in his path. I don't necessarily have the answers.
Right.
I just entertain the conversation, because 9 out of 10 times people know what they want. It's just that they don't face it. They don't
Right.
necessarily spell it out like that.
Right. Right.
But for the other extreme, there are most people, they won't. They are shy that people are going to be judging. If you approach somebody who knows you, they might talk. So that was why it takes a little bit of courage to go and approach someone that maybe can give you some time.
Right.
But you need to take good advice.
Right.
The culture also that you have around you is fundamental in this process, because if you are in a negative, always toxic kind of culture, you are not going to find what you're looking for there. Then you need to look outside. It takes a little bit of matureness also to get to that point. But it's critical that people talk about these things, because the more you keep it to yourself, the less solutions you find, because that's how our brain works generally, no?
Yeah, very true. In fact, very recently, I watched a video which said that, a lot of these people are talking about manifestation these days, that you've got to visualize it in your mind. How does it really work, right? The question was that. And the other person says that you've got to be very careful of what comes out of this. If there is always something negative, or even if you're discussing people for that matter, which is not good behind their back, that also is negative. So once you get control of this, that's when your energy is better, and automatically you're able to concentrate and focus on what you really want. And then that's when things started happening. Anyways, but that was that one thing. But yes, like how you said that it's all about your own initiative as well, and being able to hear to that no as well. I don't think so it's very easy these days for people to hear a no, like a rejection for that matter. There are 10 thoughts that come to your mind when a person is not even just reading your WhatsApp messages, or if you can see that person online. Like, I see this person online but is not responding. There are like 20 thoughts that suddenly come into your head. So it's not easy these days to just accept that rejection, right? You also mentioned in the conversation that you had your own company. And you have worked in the corporate world. Do you mind me asking what company and that company was regarding? Like, what technically was it about?
In, I would say, late 2019, we opened a cybersecurity company in Latin America. I had a very good relationship with an old colleague, and she was the one who called me up and said, we need to do something about it. She had been for about 5 years the CFO of T-Mobile in the US. So she had an unbelievable track. And actually I felt flattered that she would think it would be a good idea to do a business with me. So I said, sure, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
The deeper we got into it, the more we understood that, especially because coming from technology, you understand where the technology is going.
Right.
And what are the flaws and what are the areas in which you need to look out and see what the potentials and possibilities are. So we immediately identified this as an area of rapid growth. And what happened was, and we were actually lucky in that sense, if I may say so, 2020 hit. And when 2020 came and everybody went home, cybersecurity expense went up the roof in most companies, because everybody needed to protect everyone working from home, being able to access vital systems from remotely.
Right.
So it became a whole thing.
Correct.
And we hooked up with very good companies at that moment in time. So that has kept us growing since then.
Wow.
Now it's not easy, I can tell you. I have 2 jobs, fundamentally, and and especially because of the time of the hours difference. By the time I leave Vodafone at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, it's 8 a.m. back home.
Okay.
So an hour later is working
when you
time.
start there. Yeah. Oh my God.
So it's a couple of days of the week I dedicate myself to it in the evenings, and it's been rather intense, but what do I want? If I don't continue, my kids are grown by now. My oldest one is 30.
Oh,
and,
wow.
He's 30 years old, and he got married last year.
Congratulations.
And thank you. And my youngest, she's 25, and she works actually in cybersecurity in Ireland.
Lovely.
So it's my husband and I. And
busier the better.
No, exactly, because it's not the same. I have to accept that it's not the same. While the kids were small, it's a completely different ball game.
Yeah.
And your time is in between, specifically the work and the family. And I always kept true to that. So Now things have changed, and certainly I dedicate my time to this, but it's always that, what do I want, and what happens 3 years from now, 4 years from now, how am I going to manage that? Will I want to do this? Will I want to do that? I always ask myself these questions in order to keep on going, because otherwise I wouldn't find the energy to keep on going.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that motivational factor you've got to find. And the question is, right, what do I want?
Mm-hmm.
That's going to stay with me for a very, very long time, and actually forever. Talking about cybersecurity, I've got a lot of questions, okay? Starting with the first one. Is our phone really listening to us?
Yes, it is. Now, let me give you a few examples, because I
Okay.
think this is what most people don't realize. Google is always listening.
Right.
It's always reading your emails. If you have an open or a public email address, Google, Yahoo, any of this,
Right.
the systems are always reading into your emails. Now, this is the only way how Google is capable of knowing when an airline sends you your ticket, that it goes immediately to your calendar.
Correct.
And then you wonder why, when you open the email that came from the airline,
Yeah.
it says on top the calendar.
Yeah.
You are leaving, your departure time is this, and your return. It's Google who's done that, or any of these companies who've done that. So they are reading through your emails.
Correct.
Bottom line is, you are allowing this because in the settings, you accepted that it's okay for them to read your emails. This is what most of us don't do.
Right.
Going to the settings and
Yeah.
being able to define what we allow or don't allow these companies to take from us in terms of information.
Right.
So, of course, the systems, the applications that you have in your phone
Right.
are listening. They are.
That even if in the settings they generally ask for permission, microphone permissions, and then if the app, it doesn't make sense for a certain app to have access to the microphone, we deny that.
Mm-hmm.
In spite of that, do you think that the app is actually listening to the conversations?
Because the microphone, the camera, your location, you can turn that off, but that doesn't mean that the application is not reading your email, is not reading the SMS messages. Certain applications, certain hyperscalers, we call them, have the capability because you have their services in your phone. If you don't go to the settings of those specific services, namely YouTube, Google, what will be the most common ones? I think those two will be some of the common ones that we all have, that they are not an app.
Yeah.
Well, YouTube is an app, but Google is not an app. Google
Right.
is a community of things.
Right.
So if you don't go to the settings and define what you are allowing Google to do,
Right.
one by one, Google will continue listening to you and reading your emails.
Wow. So very recently, we were having a chat on Instagram where we were just discussing that, hey, you put up the story, it reminds me of this. Next thing, my friend texts me back saying that, hey, do you think that Instagram is reading our messages? Because I've started getting sponsored ads and reels all related to
Of
the
course.
thing that we were discussing. I was like, oh, welcome.
Yes, of
You're
course.
realizing it now. So they're actually reading all
That's
the
exactly
messages.
how it happens. Now think about it. Google, Instagram, Facebook,
Yeah.
their business model
Yeah.
is knowing you so that they can sell that information to people who can sell services related to what you are saying you like. That's their business model.
Right.
The most important thing for Facebook, for any of these applications,
Right.
is to know you so that they can sell that information. They'll say to the public that it is on aggregated, in an aggregated way. So it won't say Aneth, it won't say Garima, it won't say Osama, it won't say Nur. No, it won't say that. But it will say, here it is, company selling baby products, 10,000 persons who have said that they are interested on baby or have manifested through the messaging service in WhatsApp to their friends that they want to buy baby products. Boom. Your connection goes in there. So that's their business model. That's how they sell. That's how they are so profitable as businesses.
So that's true when they say that nothing comes for free in this world, because if anything is
Absolutely
free, you're the
nothing.
product.
Absolutely nothing.
Wow. Okay, now this is crazy. I mean, I knew a bit of it, but I didn't know that they're actually into the system. And come on, I'm not the only one. Everyone, most of the people, because this has become like our daily thing, right? To be using WhatsApp, to be using Instagram, to be using all these apps. Tell me something. All the data that they are constantly collecting, even when I'm not using the app right now, I'm pretty sure that they're collecting data through the apps that I have downloaded, right? What power do they really hold with that data? Because what I feel is that in today's time, data is gold,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
What else do you think is happening with that data?
Well, you can imagine that some of the biggest use cases that you will see in the world are going to be on advertising. So Google, Facebook, Instagram, they are capable of selling to you today. If you want to send a message, maybe not so much in Oman, this is still in a bit more bigger cities where there is more people. But in Dubai, for example, you can buy, if you want somebody to receive a message when they go by a hypermax store. Or if they are entering a store, that they will get a message of what are the discounts of the store at that moment in time.
No way.
That's all possible today because the app knows your location. So, of course, since they know your location and where you are heading to, then they send you relevant message to the place where you are at that moment in time. That will become norm a couple of years from now.
Wow.
So information or data, it's so important. And I keep on saying this to mostly people who approach me to talk about this. Any app that you have in your phone is because you want that app in your phone.
Correct.
You downloaded the app. Nobody told you to.
Yeah.
So,
come on.
you see?
Yes.
So, given that it is your decision, you also need to have the responsibility to go into the settings of that app and define what you want the app to know about you. So, in many cases, for example, you download an application on games. You're playing solitaire, whatever. You can actually tell the app that you don't want information to be sent to third parties as to, what kind of games you like, how much time you spend on that game. You don't want that information to be shared. You put no. Or that you actually don't want to receive advertising. Then the minute you say that, they say, well, then I need to charge you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
Why do you think it's so? Because the way they make money is not through you then, through a third party.
Right.
Through somebody they sell the information to. So, but it's all up to you. It's all up to you what in your settings, what is it that you are allowing these companies to know about you?
All right, I'm sure that even you agree to the fact that the times that we are living in right now, where every single day there is a new AI tool that's coming out, people are making their life easier by using them, or I don't know if they're making it more complicated.
Okay.
So my question here is that the hackers are also using these AI tools, right? Okay. So if we were talking about cybersecurity here, with the world moving so fast, is it becoming easier for you or is it becoming more difficult for you?
That's a big question.
Okay.
And
You have all the time.
And it touches about many different fronts. But I think what's important is, on one end of the angle of your question, things are becoming more complicated because there are more actors into the conditions of the management of data.
Right.
And the second element into this is actually us. We are the weakest link. Of all the issues that you see happening out there in the cybersecurity front, we as individuals are the ones who actually make mistakes, sometimes unknowingly, and issues happen. So I'll give you a very simple example.
Okay.
You get an email. The email says that you have won $10,000. You just need to open this link. And we say, oh my God, it can be. It's those 10 seconds in which we don't question ourselves. I've never won anything in my life. How come I'm winning 10,000 now? So we go and open the link.
Yeah.
And it immediately, your computer gets a malware.
Right.
So today's the systems, especially, I would say that in Vodafone, we're so sophisticated in that front that the systems that we have will shut down your computer.
Oh.
If we get a malware.
Oh.
Because this is the entrance, no? If we allow it, it can damage so many other computers or systems. We can't allow that to happen. So part of what we do is, if anything, because the person clicks on the link, we simply shut down the computer.
Yeah.
And then people don't understand why my computer is not working, but they forget that they've done so.
Right.
So that's part of what, a corporation like Vodafone Oman does today in the country.
Right.
But that's a simple way of how things happen.
Right.
Think about the phone or the mobile phone.
Okay.
You get a message that says you have won, another 5,000 reals in prepaid cards.
Okay.
You just need to call this number.
Okay.
And then you call the number, and the gentleman says to you that you need to, first of all, go and buy 100 reals in credits and put it in this phone, and then he will send you the 5,000. And it sounds silly, but you have no idea how many people falls for that.
Are you serious?
I am very serious. So, again, it's the person. We need to create a system ourselves in which we need to question.
Right.
These things of giving for free, they really don't exist. And if a company wants to approach you, if the bank wants to approach you about something, they will be very serious about you going and visiting the bank branch or going and visiting a store of the telecom company. There is no such thing that online we're gonna be giving anything. We have to be far more careful with this. And because of all the situations happening, it's a serious condition that we need to do. Now, stealing information or pieces of information, it's also part of what's happening. I'll give you one personal experience.
Please. Yes.
I'm a holder of a couple of bank accounts of a local bank here in Oman.
Okay.
I got a phone call one night, and this lady, she says to me that she's calling me from the call center of this bank.
Okay.
And I said, okay, good. She says, your account is going to be put on hold because we're seeing some movements that are not right.
Okay.
And but in order for me to do so, you need to give me your PIN code to your account.
She didn't know who she was talking to.
But I know that what she's trying me to do, and I said, okay, so I need to give you my PIN code. How come? The PIN code you gave me. When I went to the bank, you gave me the PIN code. So you don't know my PIN code? And she says, no. It's just that I need to confirm that you know your PIN code. Then I just felt like laughing, no?
Right.
I said, okay. No, I won't give you my PIN code.
Right.
If you know my account, if you know who I am, then you know everything about me.
Correct. Yeah.
By the way, but if it is such an urgent situation, I will be more than happy to be at 8 a.m. at the branch of the bank that you asked me to.
Okay.
She says, no, you have to do it now.
Now, yeah.
You have to give me your PIN code now, otherwise I will block your account.
Okay.
At which point I said, go ahead, block my account. I want to amuse myself right now.
Okay.
And she got lost. Like,
Yeah.
she didn't understand why I was answering that. She said to me, no, you're not understanding. I said, no, yeah, I'm understanding your English.
Right.
So go ahead and block my account.
Okay.
Please do.
Okay.
And she hung up.
Yeah.
So this has been happening often, not just in Oman, in many other countries.
Right.
And then we get scared that the bank is calling,
Right.
and we go ahead and give a
Our
precious thing like our PIN code.
Right.
If a bank requires your PIN code, you need to go to a branch and give it personally to the bank. Forget about giving things by phone to anybody. Same thing with your PIN code or your OTPs or your PIN code to anything, These days, you can't. That's the only protection, the only layer you have to protect yourself.
Right, right. Tell me something. Is it true that you should never access your bank apps on your mobile network or any open networks, and you should always access your bank apps from the home internet?
Home internet or your country operator are probably the safest places because the local bank would have done plenty of exercises with the local operations,
Right.
the local companies offering
Right.
services in
Right.
order to know the security levels of these companies. So locally, you should never have any problems.
Okay.
For me, the recommendation will be when you travel,
Oh, okay.
because your local bank doesn't know the operator that you are going into in any other country and knowing the security levels that these operators have.
Right.
So generally, as a rule in my life,
Yeah.
I don't do bank transactions when I'm traveling.
Oh.
I only open my app if I need to check on something, but transactions, zero.
Okay.
And if I need to do something, I'd rather call my son, my husband, so that they do it from my home country.
Right. Right.
There's plenty of things that can happen in that interaction of information going back and forth.
Right.
Maybe nothing happens, but I would say that as a rule, if you don't need to, and if there is no emergency, don't.
Oh, right. Fair enough. Okay. And how much of access do we give to our information every time we connect to a free Wi-Fi inside a mall or at an airport?
It's scary how much information you can actually be providing because you don't know the settings of the open Wi-Fis.
Right.
Some Wi-Fis are going to be rather secure in some
Okay.
places, but the truth is that at the end of the day, you don't know. I don't know. How secure is a network, a Wi-Fi network in an airport or in any other place? And what happens to you is, and I don't know if you've experienced it, you open your Wi-Fi while you're roaming.
Okay.
You open the Wi-Fi. You go back to your home country and you're still receiving advertising from the place where you opened that Wi-Fi
Yes.
because it remains on the history of your browser. So they know that and they are able to keep on sending you things even though you're not in that country any longer.
Oh.
Because they have no visibility if you're there or not. All they know is you access. Hence, they have the information.
Oh, so basically they are still able to track your location even when you leave the country or the mall or if you have connected to the Wi-Fi at that particular time.
No, they cannot track your location. What they can track is, what they have from you is something called your IP address. They know where that request came from. They know
Right,
that they are
right.
sending you, but they cannot know where you are.
Right.
Not when you access as a Wi-Fi
Okay.
network.
Okay.
Yet, what's important here is that minimize the use of open
Networks.
Wi-Fis, especially if you don't want to be bombarded with advertising, bombarded with, sometimes if you don't have a something that will protect your handset, then what happens is that you can get malware as well. You need to be careful with those things. Once again, it all boils back to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, correct. How much of information are you really giving? How much are you... Okay, so what are the red flags that you see on an email or an app that you feel that, if you see these signs, you shouldn't be downloading that app or you shouldn't be opening that email?
Okay. With respect to downloading apps, I
Yeah.
would say that that's a very personal choice because,
Correct.
of course, it can vary from person to person. But when it boils down to emails,
Right.
depending on what the email is asking or what the email is saying, you check on two things.
Okay.
Check on the email address.
Okay.
So if my email address is Aneth.Guerra, but what you're seeing is Aneth.Scrabble, Aneth. Different order
Yeah,
of things.
Yes.
Something is wrong.
Correct.
Something is not correct.
Right.
So that's the email address will tell a lot about who's. So first thing you check who's sending me this email.
Okay.
Rule number one.
Right.
And the number two, what is the email asking me to do? If it is something that it is a transaction, something of the level of transactional, please pick up the phone, call the bank, pick up the phone, call the operator, the telecom company, pick up the phone, call the hospital that sent you this. Make sure that it is that they are asking you to do something. Because even in hospitals, maybe you would remember that in England, a couple of hospitals, the databases got stolen. And people in England started getting, the patients started getting information as to things that they could buy in order to get better for some illnesses they had. But these are not medications recommended by the doctors.
Right.
These are medications recommended by the hackers that thought that they could do some good business with the pharmacies that they were selling this.
Whoa.
So there's everything happening. But I would say pick up the phone and call. The call centers that these companies will have will be good enough to tell you what's going on.
Yeah. What if somebody just happens to click on such link and then realizes after 10-15 minutes that they shouldn't have? What is the first thing that they should do? Like how you said, you should be calling the bank, you should be calling the person where you actually felt that the message came from. If they're unable to contact or they're able to speak to any of these on the call centers, what do you think they should
Generally,
be doing?
if you don't provide any information, you should be okay. If you're not giving any type of information, you just click on the link.
Yeah.
Problem with clicking the link is on either your phone or the laptop. Because a malware could have come in.
Right.
That was the whole intention,
Right.
that a malware could come in.
Right.
Then eventually your phone will start working funny, you see things that are not all right, and then you need to clean up the phone or get an antivirus or do something with your phone so that your phone doesn't go crazy and wild. That generally that's what happens. And if it is your laptop, inevitably you're probably going to have to take it to a technician because a malware in your laptop will be of a problem. And it is of a problem because they can steal information from your laptop. If you store all your password in your laptops, that's a second level of problems. So really and honestly, stepping into links like that you don't know the source of is not a good idea.
Yeah, that can be crazy. Like, it sounds crazy. The amount of access that's what if if your phone gets stolen and your phone technically has a lot of data?
Correct.
From your contact list to the passwords to a lot of people store a lot of information in their email addresses and also on the phone. So, I mean, if a person can just hack into your phone, things can really go crazy. Like,
but taking away the physical phone.
Yeah.
Again, if you don't have any way of protect your entrance to your phone, whether it is because you have face recognition or your fingerprint, any biometrics, or the Scrabble thing that some phones will have. If you haven't done anything, you are doomed. There's nothing that anybody can do because they can access the information immediately.
Correct.
As far as getting a malware in your phone, that's a different thing because an agent could actually get stationed in your phone and be sending information somewhere else and you don't know all the information that you have in your phone. So that's why physically stealing the phone, yes, it's a nuance, you lost your phone, whatever, but you need to ensure that you have some sort of protection in your phone so that they don't easily hack into the phone. Now, Android as well as iOS, that is Apple or Android, have actually services today in which you can actually track your phone. You know where the phone is and if it gets stolen. And you can also shut down all the information on your phone. So meaning that if you know that your phone is being stolen, you can know two things. You can know where the phone is, but you can actually delete all the information that it is in your phone. So that's also some of the, again, in the settings of your phone. If you have an Apple phone or if you have an Android phone, that's you just need to find it.
Oh, lovely. What are the practices that people can actually practice at home, things that they can do at home, a home that has elderly people and has children, to keep their data safe from all of this?
Well, I will say with children, there is a whole set of things that can be done because parental controls are in place today in many different ways. Sometimes your telecom provider will be able to give you that for your home Wi-Fi. So parental controls are fundamental, that you set in your Wi-Fi what is it that they have access to or not. But at the same time, you will have, in my case, for example, I have my parents who both use the phone, something we've given to them because we want to talk to them and we
course.
want to reach out to them, or, whatever they are.
Right.
But they don't understand this world of issues and dangers and security issues. So what I did when I gave them phones is, let me understand what apps you want to have.
Okay.
So both of them said, I want Facebook, I want WhatsApp. I don't want anything else.
Okay.
So, okay, fine. I downloaded both.
Okay.
I also then went to the settings and closed everything related to sharing information
Okay.
so that no one will be contacting them
Right.
or no third party will be reaching out to them,
Right.
because then they wouldn't know what it is.
Right.
That covers 80% of the issues because new things are always coming up, especially in WhatsApp. A new trend is that all of a sudden you see somebody calling in a group, for example. If you pick up the call, then that means it's like stepping into a link, because then you have given access to the hacker to come into your phone.
Oh.
So that's something that is not in Oman, I have seen it, but back home in my country, Panama, it's very common.
Right.
So then what we do, we tell my parents exactly what not to do.
Ah.
It's,
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
in a way, it's horrible because they enjoy having the phone to have, phone calls and FaceTime with the kids and the grandkids. But at the same time, they don't understand all the other conditions that are related to having this access and having this privilege to a phone. So we always ensure, and I take it as my responsibility, that I need to keep them updated on the things that they cannot or should not do.
Yeah, because nowadays they feel there's so much of fear because they keep listening to all these stories. Now, for every little thing, they're going to call and ask, something like that happened. Is it okay? Something like this happened. I got a call from an unknown number. Or this person was saying like, this person was saying that. So like how you said, it should be like the things that you should not be doing. You should not be answering phones from a number that's like very weird or something that's unknown, like how you said. And the other things, if you tell them that if you feel that the email is not right, you shouldn't be just clicking on the link. Yeah, so those are the few.
And you keep it simple. You need
Right.
to keep it simple because, for our parents, you cannot overcomplicate matters because simply enough, they are not from these, from the generations that are so used to
Right.
the digital environments.
Right.
So I always try to keep it simple for them
Yeah.
and have some safe rules around the house.
Right.
If somebody calls the house and it doesn't need to be on the mobile phone,
Yeah.
and they tell you that you need to go to X place because, I don't know, the bank is calling you and you need to go there. Call me first. Don't move from the house. Just call
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'll find out if this is true or what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or call my brother.
yeah.
These kind of actions are so important these days in order to keep our close ones safe.
Yeah. Yeah. What is Vodafone as a company doing, or what are the steps that you're taking to avoid and stop all these calls that we get, these scam calls that we get, or such emails or such messages that we get?
We have two sets of ways to manage this. One
Okay.
is in the outer world. What I mean by the outer world is we have what is called listening platforms.
Okay.
Meaning, every time the word Vodafone is used, every time one of our phone numbers comes up, we have platforms that are watching and listening in the web,
Okay.
the open web,
Okay.
every time each and every one of these things is mentioned, so that we can track the ones that the system, because the system learns over time, we can track each and every one to see how much of a threat, how much of a problem it is. So that's one set of things. This is what we call out of premise. So
Okay.
anything that it is on the open web,
Yeah.
we're listening to.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So that's one way we do things.
Okay.
The other is how we then protect our premises,
Okay.
which is our servers, our network, our customers.
Right.
So we have a set of systems also that will prevent these calls, these scamming calls from coming in. Every so often, one will go by, because keep in mind, technology changes, and these people are smart people. Please,
Correct.
they're like, these are not,
Yeah.
just
Normal people.
anybody.
Yeah.
These are very intelligent people. So
Right.
they will find ways in which they can actually bypass a system, find a new way, you name it. So then we also keep on updating the systems with all these new things happening. So when something new happens, we'll have 10 calls went through, 15 calls went through, that in the big scheme of things is truly nothing, but then we immediately adapt. One of the greatest thing about our technology is that we are fully cloud-based.
Okay.
We are a bit different from the traditional technology companies, and that is only because Vodafone is fairly new.
Right.
It's a very new company. So we
Right.
started with all the latest technology and all the digitalization.
Right.
Hence, we're capable of adapting rather
Right.
quickly.
Right. Has there ever been a threat or a cybersecurity breach or a story that you've heard of that even you felt like, whoa, now that was a major one and that really took away a lot of data? Anywhere, not just here in Oman, but just
Yeah.
globally that you'd like to share.
But there are plenty of those examples.
Something that comes to your mind now.
You will have, for example, Microsoft Azure, one of the biggest cloud services in the world, being hacked, meaning they actually isolated a number of servers in Azure. So that's one of probably the 2 years back that happened. Microsoft.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. And
so
how did they take control of it? What was it like?
They do. I mean, these are people with enough resources and knowledge and capabilities to do it.
Right.
But at the same time, they are also some of the most sought after companies by the hackers because they know that they can get quite a bit of good data and good money out of it.
Right.
There is a section in the cybersecurity world called the dark web.
Yes.
It's
tell
the
me.
web that we don't know about, and most of us will never interact with it.
Yeah.
In the dark web is the environment in which miles from airlines are sold, body parts are sold, weapons are sold, all sorts of these things. Illegal elements are sold. We listen to the dark web as well.
Right.
Because they sell big numbers are the credit card numbers or the debit card numbers that all the banks have.
Right.
They will sell big numbers from banks. It's a very big world and one that most of us don't know about.
Yeah.
But we also listen in that world because we need to know what's going on when something comes up, when something is mentioned.
Right.
So we are very serious about cybersecurity because this is the one piece that people need to understand in the process of digitalization. Digitalization comes at a cost, which is that you need to protect your customers and you need to protect your data.
Yes.
So probably one of our largest investments in Oman is actually protecting data and protecting our customers from all these environments.
Of course. Let's talk about VPNs. Are they legal here in Oman?
No, they are not allowed. This is actually regulated. VPNs are not allowed in Oman.
Right. And what technically happens if a person is using it? How much of data or how much of information is the person? And I mean, does VPN really make you anonymous on that particular network?
Okay. In the order of the questions,
Yeah.
first of all, they are not authorized to be used in Oman.
Right.
What's authorized to be used in Oman is services like Zoom, Teams, Google Meet.
Right.
This is the way that you can communicate face to face in Oman.
Correct.
And they are safe to be used.
Right.
VPNs are a completely different ballgame because they are tunnels or channels that are supposed to be private. And in this private conversation, anything can happen and anything can be exchanged.
Right.
So they are not authorized to use in Oman. They supposedly protect you. There are God knows how many in the world that are actually you can download from Android or from iOS.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it all depends on what kind of information it is that you're going to be exchanging that you require a VPN. Again, in Oman, things are very, very safe, but there is no authorization from the authorities to use it.
Right. Talking about Oman, when you compare the data prices to the other Asian countries, it's slightly on the expensive side. Why is that? Like, what I'm trying to ask is, what are the things that technically are considered when the pricing is thought of?
All right. I think pricing, as everything in this world, is going to be related mostly to cost.
Right.
So, and what is called a fair margin. Actually, telecommunications is heavily regulated everywhere in the world.
Right.
So there is an economic principle called fair margin, which is what is applicable to telecommunications.
Okay.
Having said that, it means that you cannot make 300% profit. There is a fair margin to the services that you can actually do.
Oh.
Now, if I go back to cost,
Right.
this region in particular is actually a region that has invested heavily in the telecom environment. If you see the GCC, along with probably the US, leads the way in the technology and innovation in telecommunications. But that has all to do with investment.
Right.
Now, prices are going to be different in Africa, prices are going to be different in Southeast Asia, undoubtedly. But you also see that the technologies are not at the level that the technologies are in this region. So it is all correlated. The cost to the services offered to the pricing of those services. And that's how, at the end of the day, pricing is driven. It's a combination of two things, cost plus profit, no? So I will tell you that we can talk about prices, but when you talk about service levels, are going to be very different. Yes. The reliability of the services in this region to many other parts of the world. So this is where the difference comes.
The data speed is very different when we go to these countries as compared to when you're using that data here, where everything is like within
and even
seconds.
Capacity. Think about capacity. There are many countries in the GCC region that is capable of offering you 1 gig of speed, while you barely get, a number of MBs in most countries in the world. So there's another concept called latency, which is how fast you are able to download without buffering in your device.
Right.
Here is amazing.
Oh, of course, yes.
Because on top of everything, you have a large number of submarine cables that allows you to have unbelievable speeds because you have connectivity to pretty much everywhere in the world. But that's costly business. So again, cost is what drives behind in terms of investments, the pricing that you see in those regions, in every single region of the world.
Right. I wanted to ask you another thing regarding the passwords. It said that you should be changing your passwords every 6 months. You should not be having the same password for more than one app or for more than 2 apps. But come on, given the times that we are in, we have so many apps, we have so many passwords that we have another document which is saved by another password which has all the passwords. Question: how safe is it if you have the same password for more than 3 apps?
I would suggest that you should make a habit. This is what I do with my life, because at the end, I fully agree with you. How many passwords are you going to have? And then do you remember all of them? It's just really crazy, no?
Yeah.
But what I do is, first of all, passwords need to be done in a way that is not 1, 2, 3, 4, which is, going from silly to...
Well, I'm not that bad.
Exactly. But you see... you would be surprised again how many people do that.
Thinking that I'll change it later, and that later never comes, maybe.
I was just last month in Spain. In the hotel, I said, what's the Wi-Fi password? And she told me it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9, and 0. What?
Wow, that's very creative.
Anyhow, I think that, what I do is I make sure that my passwords, I have 3 of them.
Okay.
At any given point in time.
Okay.
Only 3.
Okay.
Each one of those passwords needs to have capital letter, small letters, numbers.
Special character.
And special...
character.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
In which combination I use them, or how do I do them, it all depends on how easy it is for me to remember.
Right.
So I don't save passwords. Maybe I'm too old for this, but I don't save passwords. I have 3. I make a combination of them. I generally relate them to something that I easily remember.
Okay.
There are characters in certain movies that I like, I do that.
That's a
Or,
smart way.
you know, it's just the way in which your memory works. You need to relate in order to remember.
Right.
So I do that often. But again, I make sure that I have passwords that are quite difficult, because the more characters you have,
Right.
the more difficult you make it.
Right.
There is, if you actually Google it right now, there is a chart that tells you how long it takes a hacker to know your password. Yep.
Whoa.
So depending on the number of characters that you have in your password, this is how long it takes them to find out. And there are the ones that is like half a second to ones that says 50 years. So this is how I then I said to myself, okay, so I need to do something that it is, you know, of course not obvious, but that I can remember.
Right.
And it's amazing, after I have learned the tactics of how to, I remember my 3 passwords. Now, why do I have 3? Because one of them I use for my banks
Okay.
only.
Okay. Oh, okay.
The other ones for all these apps, the airline app, the
regular apps.
the regular apps that I'm generally using.
Okay.
And the third one for all my personal emails and my personal things.
So that's how you manage your passwords. Well,
Yes.
as easy as it sounds, well, honestly, it's not that easy, because either there's a face recognition or it'll ask for a password which you have to type in to even access your bank app or any for that. And I think everybody has that one document where you save all your passwords, because there comes a time when just a letter here and there and it says that you just got 2 more attempts. And if you don't write the right one, so that
Scary,
fear
yeah.
comes in that what if I just get stuck? So I better write it down somewhere.
Correct.
So yeah, and you'll be surprised, but actually, you know what a lot of people do? The ones who are not very ATM card friendly or very savvy, they will actually write the ATM pin password and will keep it in the same cover as that of the card. Just so that if they forget, they can just take it out. You should not be doing this. You should never save the password of your ATM card along with the card, right?
Absolutely.
But yeah, there are people who do it, but that's a nice way and a nice trick to save your passwords,
I
right?
think you need to find ways in which it's easier for you to remember. But keep in mind also that it isn't just the password. There are other things, you know, the double factor protection. Meaning,
Right.
today, for example, if you access your video streaming service from a device that generally is not the one that you use, what happens? You immediately get an email or get a text message saying, you know, so-and-so is opening your service, and just if you don't answer to this, we assume it's you. So you can set up these services from telecom providers, from video streaming services. You can do all of this today, and it's called double factor protection, because simply enough, you are doing a double validation that your service, the person who opened up your streaming services had a password. You need to have all your credentials. So this person had your credentials. So what they do is they just do another layer of protection by sending to you, the owner.
Yeah.
This
It generally
happened.
happens through a bank app, that you generally get an email when you when you probably doing a transaction which is way more than your usual transaction. So you generally get an email or you'll get a call from the bank. Well, they'll just
Correct.
double check and they'll see
Just to ensure that is
yeah,
so.
that it's you.
But
Or-
these are all things that you can set up in your
Yeah.
application, so
Yeah.
that you can actually have a second layer
Right.
if anything happens.
Right. Is there a way to find out how much of my information is leaked, or let's say is available online? Like, because I've been using so many apps, I've downloaded and I've deleted also a lot of apps. But there's a lot of information that has been shared, because they always ask those questions, terms and conditions, and there are like so many pages. Of course, nobody reads them. They're just like in the hurry. They just keep saying yes. And now, after this conversation, if I just want to go and check that how much of my information have I really shared and it's available online for anyone to go and see, is there a way that I can check?
You will be surprised. I mean, how much information there is. One of the third things, if you Google yourself right now, you're going to find quite a bit about you.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
of
true.
course, maybe it's public information, you know,
Yeah.
some of your podcasts, your
Yeah.
LinkedIn account,
Yeah.
any of these things.
Yeah.
Then comes all the information you have in Instagram, all the information you have in Facebook. and then you say, oh no, but this is my account in Instagram is closed. And you trust each and every one of those that you have given access to, that they are not sharing anything about you. So
at least mentally I'm happy that at least my account is private. So at least that information is not going out there, right?
it's private to the outer world,
Yeah.
but it's not private to the people you selected that can
Yeah.
access your account. And when I ask you, do you trust that all of them are not going to be sharing your information? I think you don't need to answer me. So just be careful on what you put in these accounts, because it is public information at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the more we try and tell ourselves that we shouldn't be sharing our personal life on these apps or on these platforms, many of them probably come from that profession. Like in my profession, I have to share. Like it becomes a part of your profession that you've got to share. Some people do share it for, for a profession, and some people just do it because it's out there. It's a trend. But yeah, there has to be information and there has to be a limit, and they really need to take that call. It's you who decides how much of information are you putting out there, and what all can really happen. Do you really think that your privacy or securing your data is going to become more expensive in the coming times?
I think it will, because you see, eventually we're all going to be buying protection for the handsets, data protection for the handsets. We're all going to be looking for, how do I manage so that, if anything happens, I don't lose all my password. Protecting data will become more expensive for each and every one of us, because we're going to be paying for more services in order to protect for that data. I think that's inevitable as we grow and as we move into more innovation in this environment.
Right.
If you think about it, 15 years ago, not even a long time, but 15 years ago, I had a discussion in which I said, because I was looking at an application, one of the first applications, I said, and I can just imagine that a few years from now, everything in my life is going to be generated by one of these. Anything that I want to do, it will be here in one of these. How many of these will I have? And today, how many do I have? I don't know. 100 in my phone? And these are the ones, maybe I use half of them, but these are the ones I use. Because everything from buying tickets to the bank to the weather to, what kind of trips I should be booking on my next vacation, what's the rating of those trips? Should I be, the restaurants, what kind of restaurants I should be eating on? Oh, by the way, how many people have gone there and rated the food in this restaurant? It's just on and on and on.
Yeah.
I think not only it's going to become more expensive, but it's also going to be a privilege to be able to be off the grid.
Wow.
And for that, you will probably need to pay too for. And that will be a couple of years from now.
Yeah. Wow. What a fantastic conversation. Well, I can go on and on and on, and I have so many questions here to ask, but I already get the signal from the team. They're like, come on, khalas, I think they have to shoot a part 2. But before I let you go, I actually have a couple of rapid fire questions for you,
Sure.
Which I'm going to ask, where you don't get any time to think and you've got to be quick and short answers. All right, my first question. Biggest red flag in a leader?
Not being themselves.
Okay. One leadership value you never compromise on?
My principles.
Okay. Most overrated leadership quality?
Being outspoken.
Okay. One trait every future leader must have?
Attitude.
Okay. Your leadership style in one word?
Empathy. I try to take advantage quite well of my attributes as a woman, actually, and not the other way around, that it's seen as a weakness.
That really comes when women are there in the leadership roles. I so agree with you on that one. Like, oh yes, I want to talk, but I'll just control myself there. Office politics. You should avoid it or you should navigate through it?
You need to navigate. This is one of those unavoidable type of things. who's going to recognize you if you don't do office politics? Who's going to acknowledge that you have the capabilities if you don't do the office politics? If you're always quiet, if you never say anything, if you never relate to anybody, who's going to recognize you?
Yeah, so you got to navigate through it.
What do you want?
Everything comes back to that. Yes. All right. When it comes to decision making, gut or data? What do you believe in?
When it comes to decision making,
Yeah, you get that gut feeling. Your gut feeling says that you should be going with this, or you go by the data and the numbers.
half and half.
Ah.
At this age, I will tell you, half and half. I'm able to also see numbers not making sense. At this stage, when I see something, I'm able to pinpoint if something is not right in the numbers. And this is my experience, my gut feeling talking and saying, guys, we need to go back to square one. This is not coming out all right. Validate to me that this is correct.
Right. Micromanaging, do you agree? You don't agree?
I don't agree. Micromanagement is just so overwhelming.
Yeah.
It just takes away so much from the people that you are dealing with. They need to
Yeah.
be responsible for their decisions.
Your biggest workplace pet peeve?
I don't understand that.
Your biggest workplace, something that you hate or something that you can't stand? Something that you fear, that no, this shouldn't be there at the workplace.
Disrespect. I honestly tell you that, and that goes from the CEO to the janitor. It can't. You can't work in an environment where people don't respect.
Yeah. Well, true that. What's harder, leading people or managing change?
Managing change for me.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is that one thing that you practice on a daily basis where your team feels seen and your team also feels safe?
Time with the boss. If you spend time with your boss, taking him or her through the hurdles, through your vision, through what you think needs to get done, in my case, I will always back you up. Don't leave me in the dark because I won't be able to defend you. I won't be able to stand behind you. You need to shine on your own, but you need to bring me on board. So time with the boss because you will be safe. I'm there. But not only I'm there believing on what you believe. So it's really, really important that you keep me in the loop. I cannot know all the details. That'll be micromanagement. But especially when you're going out there to expose yourself, to try to convince others to, if you need me, I'm here. But you are the one who makes the call.
Yeah. Do you think that being too nice at work can affect your leadership?
Of course it will. If you are too nice, you're going to be considered weak.
Oh.
Yeah. Nice, anything done too much, I think is not a good thing. If you are too nice, if you are too tough, if you are...
Yeah.
It just doesn't come out right.
Yeah.
You need to balance out.
Yeah.
If your nature is to be a nice person, you cannot be, you have to be who you are.
Yeah.
Just grade it, just the degree of things is important.
Yeah.
So that people don't misjudge you.
Yeah. There's another part in the movie F1 where Joshua's mom tells him that you should go and apologize to Sonny, who's the senior. And Joshua says that no, apologizing is a sign of weakness. And the mom corrects him that no, apologizing is a sign of strength.
Absolutely. I think it is a sign of strength.
Yeah.
Why?
Even in a leadership role?
Even in a leadership role.
Like a leader can actually go and apologize to the team.
Of course.
And that'll be a sign of strength.
And there are many ways to apologize.
Yeah.
Apologize isn't just coming to somebody and say, I'm so sorry. Apologizing is also about coming back and saying, we'll do what you ask me.
Yeah.
We'll do what you ask me because I think you're right.
Yeah.
The person didn't say, I'm sorry, I took you through, last 3 days of hell in this process.
Yeah.
But, we can't move on thinking that you are never going to make a mistake. And I have no issue with 2 sentences saying, I don't know,
Educate me about it.
or I'll come back to you when I know. I have no problem saying that. Or saying, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. But at the same time, if it is the other way around, I will be the person that I can eat you alive if I don't think that you are being truthful to me. But I'll be very patient when you say to me, I'm sorry, I just didn't know. Okay, let's go back to square one. I'll be. You know, it's for me, it's an incredible sign of strength and matureness when somebody's capable of saying, I don't think I was right.
Okay. We are actually talking to this matcha generation now, like, you know, where their patience levels are very low, where everything is like very quick, their attention span is very low again. What would you like to tell them that this is their biggest strength and this is their weakness that they should keep in mind to the current generation?
You're right. Everything has to be quick. Everything has to happen fast. And
because they even jump jobs like this.
But you see, it's about understanding the generation. One of the things that I have seen with a lot of millennials and younger generations, they are not really that interested on leadership roles, by the way. Because for them, it's a burden.
Yeah.
For them, it's what is in it for me, and then it's so much that you need to invest in the process. Why do you do it? And I speak out of, you know, looking at my two children that are not children anymore, or dealing with so many young people in the office. I think the way we engage younger generations is far more important than what used to be. We are coming to an area in which the way we execute in companies, in big corporations, has changed tremendously. And if we want to educate the younger generation to fill in into these leadership roles, we need to change the way we actually engage with them. I don't think there is any other way around. This way of being, you know, in meetings in which you need to go with a knife in between your teeth in order to be able to defend your position at all times. Younger generations are not interested, huh? And they'd rather work from home, by the way. So how do you bridge that gap? The engagement and the culture that you create in a company has to be different.
Right.
Has to consider the fact that they do want things to happen quickly, but they have to happen in a way that they are a bit more comfortable with the process.
Right.
I feel the kids are a bit more honest emotionally about how they feel with things,
Right.
which doesn't necessarily fit in cultures in which, you know, it's all this seriousness and, you know, traditional and orthodox way of doing things.
Yeah.
So there has to be a level of flexibility. I deal with younger people that will say, if the job is not 3 days working from home, I won't take it. Think about, I mean, in my time, I would say that. Probably even my father will say something to me very harsh.
You out of your mind.
You know, it's like, well, what is your problem?
Yeah.
Things have changed.
Right.
And we need to change with that, especially because we need to be able to groom the younger generations into the leadership positions.
Thank you so much for joining me in the conversation. It was I had a blast, trust me.
No, me too.
Oh my God, I had so many doubts clarified. I can still think of so many questions, and I think I'm definitely going to do a part 2 of this conversation where I'm going to invite you again with some more cybersecurity questions, with some more leadership questions.
Yes, and I appreciate it because honestly, I don't think we ever take the time, or I haven't taken the time to actually, and this is something that I preach regularly, that we need to speak at a level of simplicity that people understand not only the danger, because this is not about, you know, warning people that there is so much problems out there, but how to protect themselves. It's not that complicated. It's actually simple once you get the hang of it, of how you can do it. And we don't take the time, or I haven't taken the time before this conversation with you as to conveying that kind of messages to the public. We need to care for our kids. We need to care for our elders that are not in the in-between of all of this. And I've always taken that responsibility personally. I think it's time to, you know, do the right thing.
Thank you so much. It was really a pleasure having you here, Aneth. A lot to learn there. Okay, just before I sign out, by the way, is there a fact or any secret that you can share with us about the telecom industry out there? Something that we don't know or we don't get to hear, but can only come from you.
It's not necessarily a secret. I
Okay.
think what happens is that the industry as such is capable of providing and have provided so much throughout times, but there's still a lot to come. Innovation and the level of innovation that you see in many different fronts in the world comes a lot from the enablement that technology has been able to provide.
Right.
So yes, today we're able to access and open the world through the web, and then we have all these mediums, and now it's coming closer, the facilities that we have through satellite communication, because before that was very expensive, but there are a number of companies today that are making it cheaper, and it will keep on evolving in that front as much as in the future, I think that we will be able to even teletransport ourselves, and that will be telecommunications, moving into that direction. It's amazing. Every time I go to these shows in telecommunications, we have a big one happening in Spain every year.
Okay.
The kind of things that you see there and the kind of innovation that you see that generally takes anything from 5 to 10 years to hit the markets. But it's just the next level of things, the next level of capabilities that is being built. AI will have a big drive on this at the end of the day, but I think even travel will be changed by telecommunications in the future.
What is Vodafone working on? What is the next big thing coming out of Vodafone? Let's end it there.
Okay, so we're thinking heavily on the kids and how to do things that are actually more into that space, protecting, enabling knowledge, enabling learning, but with protection.
Perfect. Well, I ended right there. Otherwise, I can shoot another podcast right away. You take care of yourself. I'll be back soon with another podcast.
Thank you very much.